The Rolling Stones stand as one of the most influential rock bands of all time, a group that brought a raw, rebellious edge to the sound of rock and roll and fundamentally transformed the genre. Formed in 1962, the Stones emerged from London's bustling music scene with a love for blues and rhythm and blues that would fuel their distinct style. Over 6 decades, they became pioneers, pushing rock and roll into uncharted territory and inspiring countless artists with their energetic performances, groundbreaking albums, and unapologetic spirit. Their unique blend of American blues, gritty rock, and rebellious swagger made them a worldwide phenomenon and permanently shaped the sound of rock and roll. The Stones were initially driven by their love of blues music. Founding members Mick Jagger and Keith Richards shared a deep respect for artists like Muddy Waters, Howlin Wolf, and Chuck Berry, and they sought to bring that sound to a British audience. At the time, the British music scene was dominated by pop music and lighter rock styles, so the Stones' gritty, blues-based sound was a stark contrast that resonated with young people looking for something new. This focus on blues set the Stones apart from other bands of their era and gave them a unique identity. They didn't just play rock, they infused it with an intensity and authenticity drawn from the American South, blending it with the British spirit to create something entirely fresh. One of the ways the Stones reshaped rock and roll was by embodying a rebellious image that became central to their appeal. While the Beatles were polished and portrayed as the charming boys next door, the Stones embraced an edgier image, promoting themselves as rock's wild, rebellious side. With Jagger's provocative stage presence and Richards' bad boy persona, the band cultivated an anti-establishment attitude that resonated with youth culture. The Stones showed that rock could be defiant and rough around the edges. They didn't just play rock and roll, they lived it. Songs like I Can't Get No Wah, Satisfaction, and Jumpin' Jack Flash captured that frustration and rebellious energy, becoming anthems of disillusionment that spoke to young fans around the world. Musically, the Stones brought innovation to the sound of rock and roll by blending blues with other genres like rockabilly, country, and eventually reggae. Keith Richards' guitar work became iconic for its open tunings and riff-heavy style. His riffs were powerful and direct, forming the backbone of many of the band's greatest songs and setting the standard for generations of guitarists. Richards and Jagger also mastered the art of collaboration, crafting lyrics and melodies that ranged from introspective and poetic to bold and confrontational. They weren't afraid to experiment, and this fearlessness led to a rich discography that spans rock, blues, country, and soul. The Stones demonstrated that rock and roll didn't have to stay within one mold. It could evolve, absorb influences, and still retain its edge. The Rolling Stones also shaped rock and roll by pushing the boundaries of live performance. Their concerts were spectacles of raw energy and charisma, with Jagger's stage presence captivating audiences. He wasn't just singing, he was performing with every part of his body, embodying the music and bringing the crowd along with him. Richards' stage presence complemented Jagger's flamboyance, creating a dynamic that made every show feel electrifying. They helped define what it meant to be a rock band in concert, setting the bar for live performances that was later followed by countless bands. Rock concerts weren't just about the music. They became experiences, moments where fans and artists connected in ways that went beyond the songs. The Stones also contributed to rock's cultural impact, challenging societal norms and tackling controversial themes in their music. Songs like Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man engaged with darker subjects, from rebellion to existential doubt, which added depth to the genre and expanded what rock lyrics could express. Unlike the typical love songs dominating the charts, these songs were raw, introspective, and often provocative. The Stones weren't afraid to question authority, and their music often reflected the turbulent times of the 1960s and 1970s. Their songs became soundtracks to political and social movements, empowering listeners to question the status quo. Through their lyrics, the Stones demonstrated that rock and roll could serve as a voice for a generation, a tool for expressing defiance and individuality. Beyond their music, the Rolling Stones also reshaped the business side of rock. They were among the first bands to recognize the importance of branding and image. using logos like the iconic tongue and lips as a symbol that fans would recognize instantly. This symbol went beyond music, becoming a part of fashion and culture, and it emphasized that the Stones were more than a band. They were a movement. They also pioneered large-scale world tours and stadium concerts, which laid the groundwork for the modern rock tour as we know it today. Their 1972 American tour set a new standard for production values, creating a blueprint for live rock shows that would be followed by bands for decades to come. As the decades rolled on, the Stones continued to reinvent themselves, adjusting to new musical landscapes without losing the essence of their sound. They adapted to trends, from the psychedelia of the late 60s to the disco era in the late 70s, all while staying true to their blues roots. Their longevity is a testament to their ability to evolve while remaining relevant and influential. Albums like Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, and Exile on Main Est are still hailed as masterpieces, a testament to their timeless appeal and innovation. The impact of the Rolling Stones on rock and roll cannot be overstated. They were more than just a band. They were a cultural force that challenged musical conventions, redefined rock performance, and gave a generation a voice of rebellion and individuality. Their influence on rock and roll is evident in the countless artists who followed them, from classic rock bands to punk rockers and beyond. The Stones showed the world that rock could be as diverse, daring, and uncompromising as its artists wanted it to be. Through their relentless pursuit of musical innovation and their fearless approach to performance, the Rolling Stones didn't just shape rock and roll. They elevated it to an art form. They showed the world that rock wasn't just about notes and rhythms. It was about attitude, rebellion, and a commitment to authenticity. Even today, with a legacy that spans over half a century, the Rolling Stones remain a defining force in rock, a testament to the power of raw energy, creativity, and the timeless appeal of rock and roll.